Well, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for another episode of the Practical Broker Podcast. Chad Robinson here at Best Interest Mortgages, and I'm really excited today to have a amazing woman on our podcast today. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's an entrepreneur. I've seen her on stage speak several times and always provides a ton of value. Diana Lidstone is here to join us, and welcome, Diana. Thank you very much for agreeing to have our audience learn some great marketing tips and how to help their business.
Well, thank you so much for having me here this morning. And yeah, it's great to see you again. And thank for that glowing introduction.
For sure. So how did you get started in this business, in the marketing, and becoming effectively a marketing coach, right? That's really, I think, other than you, of course, you're speaking and you're teaching, you're a marketing coach. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I'm not a youngster anymore. And so I could go way back, but basically I had a retail store for 12 years, learned how to market that retail store, and that's pre-internet.
Yeah.
And then I worked for a financial advisor for a couple of years and did marketing for him. And then I went, if I can do this for other people. And it was a mutual friend of ours who suggested that I help people grow profitable businesses. And for me, your marketing is what drives the qualified leads and prospects to you. And then sales is what, sort of closes the deal. Mm-hmm. If your marketing's not working, then you have no leads or prospects. And so then you have no business. So it all comes back to marketing for me, and good marketing.
Absolutely. And, part of what we've been doing in a Practical Broker podcast for the last 4 episodes actually is really I've been having some great marketing guests on the show talking about very specific things. We were doing the last guest was talking about how to market in person, well, now online as a face-to-face networking idea. We had a gentleman on Google Ads, on SEO. And then what I love is you're sort of rounding out the last in the series of the overarching idea of marketing versus tactics. I think you're more about, what drives you. And one of the things we talked about the other day was how bad marketing is costing you clients. And I really like that statement. Tell me about that.
Well, yeah, bad marketing does cost you clients. It is basically, it could be as simple as your website. Yeah. Most people, if they be honest, they are not happy with their website. And I've probably over the last number of years looked at hundreds, if not thousands of websites. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, people have very short attention spans today. Yep. So they go to perhaps they go to your website and they're only going to look at it for about 3 seconds. Mm. And if in 3 seconds they can understand what you do, who you do it for, and what the benefits are, they've moved on. And so that's bad marketing. If you're losing clients just because they go to your website and they go, this is too complicated, this is too cluttered. And so that's just one example. But I think for most entrepreneurs, and you hit the nail on the head, they get caught up in what I call the tactic hustle. And the tactic hustle is, oh my God, a website, a logo, a tagline, Facebook, messenger bots, Facebook Lives. Oh, let's go over to Instagram. Oh, and then there was this thing called Periscope. And the list goes on.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault, really, because business people are experts in what they do. They are not necessarily experts in marketing.
Right.
Yeah. So, good marketing is actually an exercise in memorization. So I tell people, I work with CEOs, coaches, and consultants. And I say that over and over and over. And people can, okay, I get who she works with. And then I say, I help them get more clients, more sales, more confidence. And I say that over and over and over again. So, and then they can, oh yeah, that's easy to remember. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But how many times have you met someone? It could be at a networking event and they're trying to explain what they do. And after the first 10 seconds, you're going, I don't even know what they said 10 seconds ago.
Right.
So, yeah, that is the issue. And so I talk a lot about strategy,
Mm-hmm.
not tactics.
Right.
I call it my marketing trifecta. So, three things that you need in your strategy. And one I call the entrepreneur's DNA.
Yeah.
One I call your CRA, and one I call your marketing roadmap. So your DNA, just like we all have different DNA,
Right.
every entrepreneur has two very distinct styles. One is their content style. What are they best content?
Yeah.
And the other I call their entrepreneurial style. So I'm basically a teacher at heart.
Okay.
Somebody else that you and I both know, he is a teacher at heart. And yet other people are great connectors.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are different styles. And when we stick in our style, marketing becomes really, really easy for us.
Right.
And that's probably one of the first things I help people do is figure out their DNA style.
Mm.
And the next thing I help them figure out is what I call their CRA. And no, it's not the Canada Revenue Agency. It's basically about consistently the right activity for your stage of business growth. And as you and I know, what we need to do when we start our business is not the same thing we need to do when we're at a different stage. But people
Absolutely.
get so overwhelmed. Client came to me once and said, "Oh, Diana, you know this guy, he's talking about ClickFunnels." And I go, "You haven't even got a website or a lead magnet or an email list.
Mm-hmm.
Stop worrying about ClickFunnels." Wrong thing at the
Yep.
wrong time. And so when I'm working with clients, I actually give them a list. This is what you need to work on to build the foundation going forward.
Absolutely.
And then we talk about the marketing roadmap, which brings those together. And then we create a strategy that is unique for you, for your style, and for your stage of business growth. So it's not really about tactics at
Mm-hmm.
all.
It's
And
interesting you say that. I built a marketing road plan last year, and it took me, I don't know how long, probably 2 or 3 months to really dig into it. And it's quite comprehensive. And I did that without really doing the first two. I just intuitively kind of guessed what my style was. And man, it would have been a lot easier if I would have had some guidance and some plan. I probably would have done it in like a quarter of the time.
yeah, we're as entrepreneurs, I could do this myself,
Yeah.
types of people. And yet when we do hire mentors or coaches, the momentum and the traction is certainly, that line is shortened. That journey is shortened for sure.
Absolutely. I believe in coaches a lot, obviously, as from the kind of our mutual connections and those kind of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I just had a conversation about this yesterday with a friend of mine. He's like, again, that really intelligent person, probably 170 IQ. And I'm like, no matter who you are, the greatest people in the world, the greatest athletes have multiple coaches for different things, their nutrition or their golf swing or, so at different times in my career, I've had coaches for marketing. I've had coaches for operations.
Yeah.
I've had coaches for legal kind of ideas, and it depends what season your business is in. It's really
Exactly.
relevant.
Yeah, for sure. And today with COVID, and we've all had to shift more and more online. I think that is really causing a bit of a challenge for a lot of entrepreneurs because they don't have the foundational elements in place. And, I found a lot of people, they didn't even have an email list.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of look back and we go, well, why do I need an email list? And it's because you need to communicate with people. And email still is the cheapest and most effective way. Or their websites were, bad. I was going to say another bad word, but their websites are bad. And so, I really try to work with entrepreneurs so that the foundation is there and then they can build on it from there.
For sure. One thing that's worked in my business, and I love your comment on it, and maybe because I, again, try to teach this myself and I didn't get expertise help. But so I created this whole marketing plan, and it was really driven around content because, like, Like you, I believe in a lot of being a teacher and educating clients and helping provide that information. So I built this whole content strategy, and this podcast is part of that strategy. And it's taken almost 8 months, I'd say, to really get traction. Now, if I come on, I'm getting comments, I'm getting engagements, I'm getting, random people coming to my blog. But, oh, we probably have 40, 50 blog articles up now, you know, probably getting close to 100 hours of content on video. And it's just hitting that tipping point. So I think a lot of people give up too early when they're doing these kind of things. Have you noticed that?
Oh, for sure. I always say that, excuse me, entrepreneurs and business owners are very creative people
Yeah.
by nature. Okay. And as a creative, they go, well, I'm going to do this. And if I don't get traction, I'm going to move to the next thing. And that's what gets them stuck in what I call the tactic hustle.
Right.
And they are not patient by nature. I could tell you, I'm working with a private client right now, and she's going, but Diana, we've been working together for 6 months. And I go, oh yeah. And you've had employee issues and you've had COVID issues. Be patient,
Yeah.
And the traction will come if you are, really, really clear on, I think the thing is your message. What message is it that you want to get across? Mm-hmm. And, if you know who your dream client is, and if you know them better than they know themselves, and, there's a lot of foundational pieces. If you have those in place, you will get the traction for sure.
That's awesome. Well, talk to me about that. I know we like to keep this segment really, fairly short. We're coming on to almost 15 minutes.
Yep.
Tell me about that dream client and what is that concept? Because a lot of people like to just do the shotgun marketing approach, and you and I think both agree that that's definitely a lot of times a waste of money and waste of effort versus defining your ideal client.
Yeah, and for me, and I think a lot of people get stuck on it's a woman that's 55 to whatever. Mm. That is important, but the core of it is, to me, is what is the problem that they have that you are solving? That is the core of everything. So, I teach people how to do elevator pitches in 6 or 15 words. Break it down. Yeah. What is the core problem that you're solving, and what are the results that you're getting? And you need to know that for your dream client, and you need to know the emotion that your dream client, and you've probably heard this, people are on pain island. What is their problem over there? And then what do they want to feel like over on pleasure island? You're the one that takes them. So dream client avatar is certainly, I talk about 8 foundational pieces of, online marketing. A dream client avatar, your website, your podcast or your content, your email system, your social media profiles, your content marketing plan, which it sounds like you have. What is your signature offer, product, or service? And then last but not least, what are those metrics and how are you progressing? So you need to have all of those, and they need to be working well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It sounds like a lot, but if you boil it down, it can be done, I think, very simply, especially with some good help and some guidance. So how is your business working? How are you helping? I believe you mentioned something, you do some online free webinars, and when is your next one coming up, and what's happening with that?
Sure. So I am actually doing an online free webinar. It's called Website Makeover, Critical Elements to a Client Attracting Website. And I'm doing that next Tuesday, which I think is June 30th. And I'll send you the link so that maybe you can put it in the notes, show notes. But it's easy to find me at dianalidstone.com. I try to make things really, really simple.
That's great.
But yeah, the website makeover, it's going to be about 90 minutes, practical things that you can do to make your website better to attract clients. And we're going to do some website critiques live on the show. And I'm looking to have my web master or my techie girl join me for part of it. so that people can hear her 2 cents about yeah, what needs to be changed on websites today.
That's awesome. So DianaLidstone.com. I'm assuming you're also on all social media and Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
LinkedIn. So great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, you coming in the show. And to our listeners, if you have any questions, please reach out to Diana. Of course, DianaLidstone.com, and that will also be in the show notes as well. And thank you very much for listening. It's Chad Robinson here at the Practical Broker Podcast.